Hello and welcome to another Munro walking guide with time-lapse and panoramas from the walk. Slioch is one of the great iconic mountains in Scotland, and it is a backdrop to any view looking east along Loch Maree. The start of the walk is in Eighe, which is about an hour from Inverness and 4 hours from Glasgow. For this walk I started at the Eighe Caravan and Motorhome Club campsite, and I've included links for both the caravan location and the normal walking car park. The walking car park is free and there are public toilets in Eighe, a couple of minutes drive from the car park. As always, I'll talk through the route, and there are links to the route described below, as well as the standard route from the normal walking car park. The total distance for today's walk is 21.7 kilometres with 1,228 metres of ascent, and it is expected to take around 7.5 hours to walk. Starting from the caravan park, you leave the park and cross the A832 to the other side and walk along the footpath and turn right. So going right along the footpath, you'll cross this bridge here. Just after crossing the bridge, the footpath separates from the main road and goes down, although it rejoins the main road just as this road comes off the A832. And this is a road that you would go down if you're going to park at the public car park, and the public walking car park is just up here. So you go down that road, cross the river on this bridge, and then you take the first left, and it takes you down a little road alongside a few houses. As you go further down that road, you'll come to a farm, and it looks like you're entering the premises of the farm, but it is a public path and you are free to walk through. You'll come to this point here and there is a signpost. It's a very old signpost and it's quite difficult to read, but that signpost shows you that you go left to go down the public footpath to Slioch. There is a better gravel path that goes off to the right, and that takes you up to a cemetery here. So at that point you want to go down to the left, and it's not very clear. This is not a well used path, so it's not easy to see the path at this point. But you go down here, and then you'll join up to the main path that comes from the walking car park. So that's the walking car park back here, and you join that path. You're actually going through a gate in the fence, and when I was here in the video you'll see that the gate hadn't been built yet, but a new fence had been put up and there was a gap where the gate was going to be positioned. Once you're on this path, it's very clear where you're going. You follow that path along. It undulates, it goes up and down a little bit as you're going along the side of the river here, and you just keep following that path. At this point it splits, but both of these paths take you to the same point at the end over here, so you can go either way. You'll now come along the side of Loch Maree, and you'll walk along the side here for a little bit, and then you'll cross over this piece of land, and there's a bridge here. And this is where you want to watch out. When you get to this bridge, there's a gap in the fence just at the other side of the bridge. You can turn immediately right at this point and go up the side of this river. And there are big waterfalls and it's quite a nice place to walk. It's a narrower path. This other path, and this is the path that I came down on the descent, this is a wider, broader path and easier to follow. But I would recommend going up the first path to the right and following up the side of the river. You'll gradually gain altitude as you're going up the side of the river, and there's lots of nice waterfalls. The thing to be careful of is when you come up to this point here, the path splits. This main path goes through to the Fisherfield 6 and it does not go up Slioch. So you want to just make sure you keep to the left when it splits and follow the path. It'll then cross over, and it's not so clear here, this bit of the path, and you'll cross over the river here, and as soon as you cross over the river, and it's a very narrow small river, you want to take an immediate left turn, because again I saw some paths and it looked like they rejoined this path, so you just want to make sure you turn left and you start ascending, and it gets a bit steeper at this point. You'll come up to here and then you will see quite a broad path coming from the left, and that's the way that's the way I descended. Go right, and then you just keep heading uphill. The path is quite clear, it splits off occasionally, but they all go up the same way and you just keep going uphill. It'll start to flatten off, and you can see you're coming around the side of this hillside, and you want to keep to the left if you're going in a clockwise direction. I've done it both ways, and actually I think I find it easier going clockwise. So if you go left at this point, It then flattens off a bit. I'll just zoom out a little bit. And then when you come up here, you start to gain, it gets a little bit steeper, and then it bends back on itself to the left, comes up the side of here. You'll see this little lock in up here, and then you start going up here. It gets a bit steeper, and it looks like it's going to be loose and scree, but there's plenty of big boulders you can stand on, and I didn't find my feet were slipping at all. There's lots of different zigzags here, so I'm not saying that you'll keep to this one path. Some of the paths might go a little bit more this way, and some go a little bit more this way, but you'll just keep zigging and zagging and making your way up. You'll head up towards this top. Now you can, if you take some of the paths that go more to the right, you can probably skirt round and not go up this last little bit. There is a little top here. There's nothing on it. There might be a very small cairn, but there's nothing to see here, other than you get magnificent views of Beinn to your south. And you'll keep following the path up. You come up to the top here. And at this point, I'm going to show it in the detailed map. In this point, there is a trig point. So this is where the trig point is, but the trig point is not the summit. So the trig point is at 980 meters, and the summit is at 981 meters, and it's a little bit further over here. And if you're not aware of that, you might actually think you've come to the top. So from the trig point, you continue on north. It goes down a little bit and then goes round, bends round to the left, and then you get to the true summit. And there are excellent views across Loch Maree, and then the best views are actually to the north, the Fisherfield 6 and Slioch. Once you've enjoyed the views at this point, you're going to head east and go along a ridge here. It's not a narrow ridge. There are drops, as you can see. It's a bit steeper on the north side, but there's nothing scary. There's no scrambling involved. It is just a walk along the ridge, and it's quite a nice walk. Follow that ridge. It then starts to pick up a little bit of altitude as you come to the end point here. You are climbing up a little bit here to get to the top, and then you get your final view is north of the Fisherfield 6. So these are the Fisherfield 6 over here. And then Slioch is just a bit further north. It's up here. So from that top, I was originally going to go down this edge, and there is a route that goes down here further and then cuts back across. But when I was on the route, I saw a very well defined path, and I just checked my Caravan map, and that was this route I'm showing here. So it is clear to follow. You don't go quite as far to the edge here when you come off down here. And follow that path down. I think it would be harder to find that going in an anti-clockwise direction, because coming from here across to the start of this path, there's no clear route. There are bits where it's more obvious, and other bits it gets a bit marshy around here, and so people have been going in different directions to try and get across here. I think when I actually came across, I kept a bit higher. I didn't want to drop down here and climb back up, so I think I actually came across a wee bit higher up and then joined back here. There is a big rock here, a big boulder, and I've shown it in the video, so you can look for that and then go up. If you can get across to there, then go up the path, you can go that way. Once you get back to here, you simply descend the route the same way you went up until you get to here. You can go back down by the side of the river, but I chose to take the wider path and see what that was like, and it's quite easy to walk out on that path. You'll join here just slightly further up than when you turned off on the Ascent, and then it's just retrace your steps all the way along. And by this point your feet will probably be quite sore, and it does seem a bit of a trudge to get back along here because you're on the flat. And eventually, if you're going to the car park, you'll just go back down there to the car park. I went back down here and round. The public toilets are just here, and I checked them out on the way back to see what they were like, and they were quite good, so I'll show that in the video. Now we'll go and have a look at the weather for the day. So as always, I check the weather on the Mountain Weather Information Service, and Slioch is in the Northwest Highlands. As I was camping at the caravan park, I just downloaded the PDF version of the report for a couple of days, and I actually did this walk on the Wednesday. I had a look at the Tuesday, but the weather, as you can see, it's looking quite windy, and only a 30% chance of the tops being clear. And if we have a look at Wednesday, Again, it's looking to be quite windy, especially later on, and a 30% in the west, which is really where I was, 70% in the east, but I was more west than east. So it wasn't looking good. But when I got up on the Wednesday morning and just had a look outside, I could actually see the summit of Slioch from the caravan park, and it was clear and it was looking quite good. I had a look at the Met Office weather, and it was showing weather coming in and going out, but it did look like the weather was going to be clear. I think it was until about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon it was going to be clear. So I just went for it. I thought I'd just go and see what it's like. And I was fortunate that when I was at the top, the summit was clear. A little cloud did come in whilst I was there, and then it went away again, and then it was clear again whilst I was up there. So now we'll go across to the walk. Good morning, it's another beautiful day in Loch. A bit windier. I'm going to do Slioch today. It's just up there behind the trees. It's meant to be clear until about 1 or 2 o'clock. So I'm just leaving straight from the caravan park and turning right as I leave. We walk down this road a little bit and then take a left. So I've been going down the path alongside the road, it's just a little bit off to the left. Now we go down this road to the left. And this is the same place as you would drive down for the car park for Slioch. But there was no point me driving along here from the caravan park. It's just along the road. The thing you need to do to get to Slioch from Loch is cross this river here. And it's a big river, so there's not going to be wading across it at a ford. You need a bridge, and here it is. This river runs into Loch Maree, and we'll get to see plenty of that from Slioch. And that's looking back at Beinn. It's lovely when you're out of the wind, but the wind's meant to get up to about 40 miles an hour, so I'm going to be complaining a bit, I'm sure. The car park for this walk is just slightly further down that road where the school sign is, and on the left hand side. From there you leave and go towards the hills. You can see there, you kind of go northwest, then along the bottom of that hill line. I'm going to cut the corner because I'm walking, and I'm just going to go along this road here. It joins up to the same path, and I'll point that out when I join the path that goes directly back to the car park. But I'm turning left just now. I wonder if any of these houses are for sale. They've certainly got a view. Beinn, very nice. Just walk through what it looks like you're entering a farm there, but it's okay, it is a road and it takes you out. And you can see the path all across there. That's where we're going. And that joins onto the path that comes from the main walkers car park. We just need to head over there. When you come to the sign, it actually says footpath to Slioch. It's a bit mossy and overgrown. It's not clear, but you do cross this feeding spot and you can see the signs of the path over there. So I think we just go along the side of this fence line. At some point we should be able to cross through it, and then we'll be onto the same path as you walk from the car park. Just joining the footpath that goes back to the car park for the walkers car park. Building a nice new fence here. So if you're coming from the car park, you'll be on this path. Obviously when I go back, I'll just cut through the fence there and join that road. And you would just keep going up there. you come through this break in the fence, you'll see there's two paths. You can take either, as long as you keep going along the side of this hillside. I'll take the one's got a bridge. I'll take the easier one. Beautiful woodland walk on the way to Slioch. This would be a nice place to camp, except for all the walkers that will be passing by. Still got a wee bit to go down the side of this hillside until we get onto the sort of walk proper up into the back of the mountain. Slioch is straight ahead. The actual summit is out of view. It's a bit like a horseshoe at the top, and so we're seeing the left hand side of that horseshoe. It obviously goes round to the right. It looks quite impenetrable as a mountain. On all sides it's pretty much that steep. There is one weakness, and that's at the back or round to the right. So we go round this hillside here, and then you can get up the back, and from the back it's actually quite an easy walk. There's one steeper section with a bit of scree and loose rock. And then when we get to the top, I'm going to go around and there's a little ridge on the north side. And it's a nice little ridge. It's not difficult, nothing scary on it, but it's a nice walk. And then come back down the same way we go in. Hopefully I can do that before the cloud comes in. It is due to come in around about 2 o'clock today. And it's currently 9:20 in the morning. At this point the path deviates away from the river that we've been following for a while, so we're just going a wee bit to the right, but it's clear and visible tracks. I'm right at the end of Loch Maree. The path goes along close to the edge of Loch Maree for a little bit. We cross a stream, we cut across a bit of land that then joins back up to a bigger river that goes into Loch Maree. Cross a bridge at that point. After crossing the bridge, go up to the right, up the valley between these two hills. All the way through the woodland there was no wind. It was nice, but now we're getting a bit more exposed. After crossing this bridge, we're going to go right, and that'll take us up the valley behind Slioch. There's quite a lot of water available in this walk, all the way up behind Slioch, so there's no trouble getting fresh water. As soon as you go through that rusty fence, you turn right and brings you along here, and then we'll go up this way. There's a nice waterfall over there. There's nothing difficult or scary on this walk. It's all just a nice walk. There's a good path to follow. There's no climbing or scrambling. A little bit of loose scree further up, but nothing difficult. Lots of waterfalls around here. There must be times when this whole thing gets overflowing. You want to keep an eye out for this small cairn. We've been coming up with the river on our right hand side. The path that goes off to the right and continues along the side of the river will take you through to the Fisherfield 6. It's a bit of a walk, but you'll get there. So we're going to go straight ahead, maybe slightly to the left. We cross over this little stream and then immediately go left and go up the side of the stream. You'll see there's a path further on ahead up there, and it looks like some people have cut across to there, but we're not meant to be going that way, so we're going to go up to the left. Looks like I'm coming up the quieter and less used path. There's a bigger one that I've just joined. We just keep going up there. I'm only at 350 metres, so just over a third of the way up. You can see all Beinn over there. Another 200 metres of ascent, and then it flattens off and we get in behind Slioch. It's like I say, it's like a horseshoe. And in there, probably be protected from the wind. And still got another 400 odd metres to climb, so you're only just about over halfway when you get up there. It's quite a big mountain. Going to go round the side of this little bit of hillside, climb about 20 metres, and then it flattens off for a while and you come to a loch in, and then I'll get some water, and then there's a steep section to climb up and it takes you up onto the ridge, and there's a trig point sort of directly ahead. That's not the true summit. The true summit is more over in that direction, so we'll go round to the right, and there's a big cairn at the top. Nice and peaceful. A very different view of Slioch from here. You can't get this from the road. The summit is up there, straight ahead, but out of sight at the moment. It's further back. And like I say, there is one top right in the centre of view that you can see from here. Yeah, but then you go round to the right, further back to the true summit. Then from there, walk along the ridge, all the way atop, all the way along the top, and just come down, and then just cross over here, and that takes you back to the path where that small cairn was. The time is 10 past 11. be clear up till 2 o'clock. So hopefully I get to walk the ridge whilst it's still clear and get a view across to the Fisherfield 6 that's directly behind the mountain there. The path goes straight ahead for a while, like you're going to the middle of that big mass there, but then it cuts back to the left and goes up the shoulder, up the centre screen, and then from there it goes back to the right and straight up that section of scree, and then levels off a bit. Still a bit of a slope to go to get to the top. You can actually see someday almost at the top where the drink point is. Like I say, actual summit is further behind in that direction. The wind's going to start picking up as we gain altitude. Just coming to where it bends back to the left. We're slowly but surely making our way up, gaining altitude. Almost there. Probably, I don't know, 300 meters to go. I'll double check. I've confirmed 300 meters to go to the top. It doesn't look a lot from here, but most of the mountain is hidden from us. So even way up here you can go for a swim. But it's a bit too cold for me. This section is steep, but it's good underfoot. It's not like loose scree where you take one step forward and half a step back. It's fairly firm underfoot. You can walk up the rocks. There's long zigzags. I mean, it's steep, but it's not bad at all. So we're making good progress up this bit and almost at the first top. So the summit, I believe, is over there. It might be more to the left. You can see the ridge. There's no climbing or scrambling required for that ridge. Just a nice easy walk. And a big down slope. Just enjoying it here. I'm just off the summit. At least, sorry, I'm just off the top, and that way I'm getting protected from the wind. I'm sure once I get up there you'll hear all about it. Looking across the Beinn and all the Caravan mountains. Stunning mountains to walk in. I want to do them when it's fully clear. So there's the first top. That's a little bit further on than I thought. And then the summit is in the centre of the frame to the right of that top. That one there I believe is a trig point, and then the actual cairn is on another outcrop further back. I definitely want to get over to that ridge because there's some spectacular mountains beyond that. Always amazing how you can step back a few metres from the edge and the wind really dies down. It's obviously getting deflected up the edge and over. So we're in a little pocket of calm, but you'll have heard from the previous video, it is extremely windy. Hands are freezing with the wind chill. It's quite surreal though. There's a sort of storm front coming in over there. It's cutting up the west coast of Scotland. Another couple of walkers over there on the ridge coming up. So I'm going to make a quick stop at the top. And maybe I can get just over the edge. Might stop and have something to eat for lunch and enjoy the views over the Fisherfield 6. So over in the distance there, Cheum, spectacular mountain. I think it took us about 12 hours to do the full circuit of it. Wonderful day out in the summer if you've got a clear day. There's some scary bits as well when you're doing there's a bit of these sort of pinnacles, they're like totem poles you walk across, sheer drop on one side and a big enough drop on the other side as well. Oh, the cloud is just coming in. Right, let's get to the top before it gets clouded over. The summit of Slioch. That wind is freezing! I'm going to hide round the corner. You really do need to be careful if you're going to hide round the corner here because it's a big drop. Yeah, this mountain is pretty much impregnable from all sides except for the back. Fisherfield 6 are all clear. I might do them. It involves camping and it depends on the weather. I don't like camping in the mountains when it's 40-mile-an-hour winds. Spend all night awake and pray the tent doesn't get shredded. Literally just made it to the top before the cloud comes in. It's not due for another couple of hours. I'm going to look for a quiet spot out of the wind, if I can. Have some lunch. It's not too bad here. I'm out of the wind. You can see how windy it is with the clouds whipping across. It's a nice viewpoint for your lunch. It's cleared up, clarity is better, still is windy, but it's nice views. So now I'm going to head along the ridge, and then an easy descent back down, and then the long walk out from Loch Maree. Now the wind is coming from the completely opposite direction. How does that happen? Walk along this ridge. Just making my way along the ridge. Easily the best part of the walk. Having reached the top, you know you've not really got any more ascent to do. There's a little bit over there, but it's now just a nice gentle stroll along this ridge. And you just look north, and you've got all these incredible mountains to look at. Explain how cold and bitter that wind is and how comfortable when you can get out of it compared to being in it. Just looking back along the ridge to the summit and also the trig point you can see up there. This is what the ridge is like at the narrowest point. it's not anything significant. It's a nice little walk, very similar to the Ptarmigan Ridge, just not sunny today. But there's no scrambling or climbing on this ridge that I can recall, just some big steps. Just come to the highest point on the ridge and about to start to descend. I thought I'd get one last view, panorama in. I came across this path, checked it on the Garmin map. It is on the map, although at this point it's no longer shown on the map. It kind of starts here and makes its way up. But given the amount of traffic, the wear on the path, it seemed obvious that people use it, and I just need to get across to the centre of the screen there. Originally I was going to come down that left-hand ridge over there, but this path was the more obvious and clear path, so I thought I'd follow that and see what it looked like. So that's the route I'll show and have in the link below. That route is easy enough to follow down the way. I think it'd be a lot trickier to go up this route. There's no cairn, no indication of a start. It all gets a bit vague at this bottom of it. There is a big rock there, so you might be able to spot that as you come across. I would recommend just doing it the same way I've done it today, do it in a clockwise direction. So from here we just need to go straight across this moor and get to that low part there where we came up. You could go a bit more to the right and enjoy the path that we came up on, but you're going to have to do a little bit of ascent, so I'm just going to try and go straight ahead. Don't go off to the left. When you can go down that way, you'll come across a path that goes along the side of the river, and then you can turn right. It's not hard to get back. There's still quite a bit of descent to do to get down from that bit over there. If you do want to do this in the opposite direction, that's what the two boulders look like that you'd head for, and then the path is a little bit to the left of them. They are about the biggest boulders in view, but from a distance I don't know how recognisable they'll be. It's nice to get down out in the wind. You'll see from the time lapse, when I came across there, I veered to my right, so to the left as we look back. It was starting to slope down a bit too much there, which the risk is you've got to then climb back up. So I was trying to keep to the same altitude just go across the flat and I'll curve around here, and I'm going to join that path that I came in on, which is just a bit slightly further up there. And literally about 10 metres on, here's the path. So turn left and then just follow this all the way back to Loch. Obviously when you get down to that bridge you turn left again, but after that it's a pretty straight road out. The rain started. I'm going to go back down the middle path. So when I came up closer to the river, and I see there's another path that goes down the middle. I'm going to follow that one back. This is the point that this path that goes up the middle joins the path I walked along this morning. So it's slightly further away from Loch. The bridge will be just round the corner. So if you go over that bridge and through the rusty gap in the fence, you just keep going up a bit further and then take the right turn as you're facing this way. So you go up there, but I'll show it in the route. I'll show the full route that I've done today. You can decide which way you'd like to go if you're going to do this. There's still a fairly significant walk back to Loch, but not very much up and down. It's raining very slightly, but too warm to keep a waterproof jacket on, and thankfully the wind is gone, so it should be a reasonably pleasant walk out. I'm not sure if the time-lapse will have caught that, but this white rock is very slippy when it's wet. My foot just went sideways, and even my poles didn't save me. Squashed my thumb. Well, at least nothing seems to be broken. Coming to the end of this little road that went down to the farm, going to turn right, and that'll take us out to the main road that goes into Loch, and then one more right. There's a sign here for public toilets in Loch. It's not far from the car park for the walk, so I'm just going to go and check them out, let you know if they're available. So the toilets work, and they've got soap and water for washing up afterwards. So that's me returned back to the caravan park. Like always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.